everybody. Dirty Thursday brought to you by River Cities Speedway. East Sider, Tucker Pederson, Wissota Street Stock driver on the show today. It's going to be an awesome show. Can't wait. We got a lot of things to talk about. Your show brought to you by Northwest Tire in Grand Forks. Hopefully Chad's going to be here anytime, but Northwest Tire, they're still looking to hire some counter help. You'd be selling tires. You'd be working up inventory and work orders and all that kind of stuff. Pay will depend on your experience. They got some great benefits, PTO, health insurance, 401k. Great group of guys to work with, too. Call them up, 701-780-8473, or you can also apply online at nwtire.com. If you're looking for a job, Northwest Tire in Grand Forks. Check them out on Gateway Drive. If you have any questions or comments for Tucker, myself, anybody, our number is 701-213-0863. Feel free to text or call 701-213-0863. Before we get going too much further, time for our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Can't skeletons play church music? Why can't skeletons play church music? They don't have organs. Paul gave me the thumb up on that one. How's that? Yeah, Dale wouldn't have. A couple of reminders here. I still have some Forks Karting Association raffle tickets. $10 a ticket. Find me. I'll be at the racetrack again tomorrow night. Find me. A chance for you to win $2,000. We got some track schedules here tomorrow night. River Cities Speedway. It's a Wayne Anderson Cup qualifier again. I can't wait. Back to like a regular Friday now tomorrow night. We got of course, the Buffalo Wild Wings NOSA Sprint Cars. We have the Wissota NLRA Late Models, the Midwest Mods, and, of course, the Wissota Street Stocks all there. Devil's Lake Saturday. What do they got? The Minn Kota Lightning Sprints are going to be there. Pure Stocks, Wissota Street Stocks, Wissota Midwest Mods, Non-Wing Sprints, and the Trophy Class. Saturday in Greenbush, NLRA Late Models going to be up north. Let's see, with the Midwest Mods, Street Stocks, Pure Stocks, and 4-cylinders. Sunday at Buffalo River, a regular night of racing. Buffalo River on Sunday. Nick, good morning. Scott Iverson, good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Boy, what a great weekend last weekend with the World of Outlaws here. Congratulations, David Gravel was our winner here, and it was fun because I got to hang around with some of my old friends again that we haven't seen in a year. The Canadians were all up there, and you guys know who you are. And thank you for sending my wife the wonderful flowers. If she can, she will talk to you guys when we come back again. But it was fun seeing those guys. What a great crowd. And also, I forgot that I had these in my folder here. I have a couple of autographed Mark Dobmeyer hero cards. If anybody wants one, just feel free to swing by the studio here, and we will surely give you those. All right, now it is time, the one, the only, Tucker Pederson in the studio. Man, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. No school now, right?
Nope, summer's off.
Okay, now you were a freshman in college.
Yes.
Okay, and you're going to be a brain surgeon, rocket scientist, what?
Physical therapist.
Oh, okay, physical therapist. Did you ever... Why physical therapy? I mean, because you're a race car driver and you get wounded a lot, or it's just something that you always wanted to pursue?
Surprisingly enough, racing is the one thing I haven't been wounded in yet. No, I just had a lot of bad luck with sports in high school and stuff, and went through a lot of physical therapy. So, that's just it. Brought me towards that field, and right now I don't feel called to anything else. So.
Yeah, you've had some knee issues. How many knee surgeries have you had now?
3 total.
Okay, because I've had 4. Physical therapists, I used to know them all on a first name basis in Thief River and in Grand Forks, but those people, I also give them all the credit in the world. I probably wouldn't be walking very good right now if those guys. I mean, I went 6 days a week for 7 months. And they basically taught me how to walk again, but they also basically kicked my ass. They made me cry. They made me scream. They made me swear. I said things to people that I never, ever meant to say to people. And thank God that they were the physical therapists they were, because they all just took it like a grain of salt. And they did it with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
And that just blew me away, because I'm going to admit, I was a crabby mofo when I'd go to therapy. I mean, they would just beat the tar out of you. But... man, I give all those people all the credit in the world, and if you continue to do that, that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool. So you're going to be a sophomore this coming year.
Yep.
How do you like going over here?
I mean, I guess what I expected. I'm not a huge fan of college in general. I definitely liked high school more, just the speed of things. But,
Sure.
I mean, it's just one of those things you just got to adjust.
Yeah.
and
Did
keep
you
going.
have to live on campus or could you live at home?
So since I just lived across town, they have some rules that I could end up living at home. So I opted to do that because
Sure,
I couldn't get myself to spend the money on housing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
just couldn't.
And you end up getting room paired up with somebody that probably doesn't even know what a damn dirt track is.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it was just the risk versus reward. I just didn't deem it was necessary. So yeah, I opted to stay at home, and I don't regret that at all.
Yeah, is school tough?
Definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely really tough.
Physical therapy, a lot of people would think, it's not Phi-Ed, folks. It's a lot different. Physical therapy, you got to have a head on your shoulders. That's just not something you're going to skate through.
Yeah. I'm not too sure about what's actually in how bad the actual graduate program is yet. But the undergrad, I know it's just a lot of sciences, and not only those sciences, you have to really excel in those classes too.
Sure.
So, I mean, a B is low for them. You have to get all A's in those sciences, and that's just the requirements. If you don't get it,
You're done.
You don't make it into the graduate program. So it's really steep requirements, but I mean, that's just what it is.
My wife, when she was in the graduate program, if you didn't get an A, you were done.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, you're done. Boy, that'd be pressure.
yeah, tell me about it.
Man, I tell you what, you're off to a pretty good start this year, aren't you?
Yeah, 4 wins so far.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you try to downplay it.
Yeah.
Well, we got 4 wins, but it seems like a lot, but we've raced like 12 times. Okay, so you're winning 30% of your races. That's not bad, but have you ever had a start this good before?
No, I guess not. Yeah, last year was clearly a really good year too, but it definitely, I think, started off a little bit slower. We were changing stuff with the car, and it took me a while to adjust last year. And now we're more to a point where we kind of had a baseline, but we're also trying stuff too, which either makes it better or slows you down. So, I mean, we're just experimenting, but at the same time, yeah, it's been a lot better start than what I'm used to.
Well, was it last year or the year before? I know maybe it was the year before. You kind of were struggling a little bit. I know you brought the car over to Strand's shop. I know he scaled it for you, and you were on fire. It seemed like things went pretty well for the rest of the season. But was there one thing, 2 things that all of a sudden just punched you guys in the head, and you went, "Hey, this is what we're gonna do," or is it more seat time, more experience, more everything?
Well, I want to say one thing that really helped going into last year was we had ended up switching over to Factory 43 for some of our setup stuff, and he gave us a lot of knowledge that we were just missing. So so they helped us out a lot, and I feel like that's what really kind of woke the car up some, was just their advice, and then it just took me learning how to drive it, which last year, that's why probably a slower start to the year, but
Sure.
as it progressed, it went really well. So then this year, we're just, now that we have a good baseline, now we're just trying to experiment and try to get faster, because if you don't keep trying, you're going to end up getting slower.
Right, and you probably have another half dozen races under your belt at this time than you did at this time last year, too.
Exactly.
I mean, you're racing more.
Yeah, we've been racing a lot more than what we would have last year, because last year it'd be maybe 1-2 nights a week. Now it's 3-4 every weekend. So
you're talking about going to Lisbon tonight. You won in Aberdeen the other day. You're kind of getting out and about now a little bit. Going to be racing, sounds like, more this year.
Yeah. We never like to say that we're running for national points, because once you say you're doing it,
you get the juju.
Nothing ever works out well. But we're just running more and trying to have fun with it. And then if the wins and stuff come, then they come, and maybe a national title. We don't know. We're not going to fill our heads with that now. But that's kind of the end all be all kind of goal. But
yeah.
You just can't get fed up in it. You got to have fun with it too. So just traveling more and doing more stuff.
Have you ever raced at Aberdeen before?
That was my first time. Yeah. It was,
so how is it when you go to a different track? Is it a big learning curve? Because everybody preps their tracks differently. It all depends on what kind of classes you've got, what classes of cars are going to be racing. But did you just go up there and kick everybody's butt, or how did the Aberdeen thing go?
Well, I know, just walking up and looking at it, I definitely tried to study film and stuff on the way there, just watch the weeks prior to this and all of that stuff. But outside of watching, there's not really much else you can do to simulate the track. So you just gotta look at it. And I know going into the heat race, I was definitely really, really anxious, but at the same time, it's just another track. You know, if you got that feeling in your butt and you just know what the car is going to do underneath you, then you just got to drive it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's definitely an adjustment, but man, I love that track. That was so fun.
Yeah, you know, and it's not like NASCAR where you can just punch in Aberdeen dirt track and have yourself a simulator and go to town on it. But now, since you're getting older now, when you made the Aberdeen trip, because with the Pederson Racing family here, you guys sometimes are spread out all over the place. But did any of the family make that Aberdeen trip with you?
So actually, Kelsey, Cole, her boyfriend Cole, and my girlfriend Grace are the squad that came with me at Aberdeen. But yeah, that was the first time without mom or dad, one of the two being with me. So it's definitely a little different feel to it. But
I bet it was driving your mom nuts.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just one of those things. But yeah, it's definitely a different feel to the trip. I mean, we try to do everything we can together. We don't want to get in a swing of making it not a family thing. Cause with doing all this traveling, it's at the end of the day, it's not worth it if it's not fun with family. You know what I mean? So we do everything we can, but weekends like last weekend where the money's in River Cities for dad, and it makes literally going to Aberdeen makes no sense financially for me besides just traveling and doing stuff. So it just came down to money, and why not try get money in Forks too? You know what I mean? This is how it ended up.
So, okay, now this year you've won Greenbush, you won a Devil's Lake, you won an Aberdeen, you won a Buffalo River. You just got to add River Cities Speedway there now. But this national point thing, I know we don't like to talk about it, but how can you not think about it? I mean, it's a goal to do very, very well in the point standings.
Yeah, it's definitely it can definitely put a toll on everybody's mood if you don't excel one night. You know what I mean? That's definitely been probably the biggest fight for me so far this year is you're disappointed with a second place finish. Like, you know what I mean? You get anything outside of probably the top two at the end of the year, or maybe three, it ends up being a throwout night anyway for points. So you think about those nights, and it's just it really can put a toll on some people's moods. So that's probably the biggest issue.
Looky who's here. The one, the only, Chad Hoff.
Hi,
How you doing, man?
Perfect.
Oh.
What, you got it perfect? Look at that. Look at that.
Wow.
Shiny head and all.
Hey, man, that's awesome.
I was messing with them a little bit.
Yeah, I know you were. How you doing?
Tired.
Did you find that tire?
It did.
Yeah?
Did. Bottom of like 7 other tires, so that was cool.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
What's
Always
new?
fun. Nothing's new.
Okay.
This is just busy as boop, and
I hear
I'm
ya.
hiring.
Yeah,
So,
we talked about that.
Yeah. Come on over.
Yeah, maybe I'll come and talk to you.
It's busy.
Yeah,
It's busy. I mean, we need people. People make the business go.
Sure.
I'm just going to vent for 2 seconds. People are not patient no more.
Oh,
There's no patience in people.
I'm that way.
Like, if you understand that what we have going on and everything else, like, are you serious you can't get me in? No, I can't get you in. I do the best we can every day, and that's the best we can do. There's guys that are out 3 weeks to get tires put on. Like,
Right, yeah.
So we're a day out right now, and we're struggling to get those completed. We stayed till 7 o'clock at night to get shit done.
Yeah.
So, just people, please be patient, because you ruin days. You ruin our days.
Yeah. I mean, imagine folks doing your job.
I need a fan today.
And somebody's going to yell at you about it. Oh, you can try some jerky, too.
Oh.
If you would like. That's courtesy of Scott Pearson from Home of Economy.
Nice.
Who, by the way, I don't know if you guys noticed on the Zach Umdahl car and the Brendan Mullen car now, both sporting some Home of Economy
I
stuff,
know.
which is pretty darn cool.
That's good. Hometown stuff. It's good.
Yeah.
No, that's just my vent. Yeah.
Sure.
Sorry.
We're talking to Tucker here about
His awesome weekend.
yeah.
It's freaking unbelievable.
I was down in the talking about the Aberdeen thing here. It's pretty cool because let's face it, anybody that knows anything about dirt track, it doesn't matter where you live, they've heard of River Cities Speedway. It doesn't matter if you're in Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Aberdeen. And now it's got to be pretty cool when you make the trip down to Aberdeen for your first time ever. And you know there's people that, I've heard of this kid. Yeah, I've heard of this kid. Then you go down there and you smoke everybody. And now you've got more fans to your fan base in Aberdeen. Did the locals treat you pretty good there?
I'll be honest, they were all very nice.
Yeah.
It seemed like there were a lot of people that approached me in the pits there, and me being without dad or anything, it seems like it's kind of one of those things you're always kind of living in that shadow a little bit.
Sure.
I mean, that's how you make connections is kind of for me through him because he seems like he knows
Oh, I
everybody.
thought you were talking
from his
about
past.
Kelsey.
Oh, yeah. But I mean, that's usually how connections were kind of made is just through him. So, but I was really surprised with how many people that came up to me and I didn't know who they were, but they knew who I was. So, I mean, it was kind of cool to make new connections with a lot of guys I've never met before.
I think it's got to be really neat for you to be one of those drivers now that when they pull in the pits, like, oh, here's Tucker Pederson.
Yeah, where they're either really happy or they're really not.
Yeah, because half of them are probably like, oh, shit, here's Tucker Pederson, and you're young yet, and you already have that reputation going on. I mean, you didn't start at the front at that feature race, and that down there, you actually worked through the traffic, worked the top groove. I watched the race. It was so cool how you just maneuvered your way up, and before you know it, your exit off corner 4 was unbelievable. And the straightaway speed was there, and he was right there, was first place.
Now, what was the one where the lap traffic was in the way coming out of turn number 4? Was that Devil's Lake or Greenbush? He won right at the last second there?
Well, that's the thing. I didn't
was
win,
that
I didn't
Aberdeen?
win that one. No,
you didn't.
That was in Devil's Lake. Unfortunately, there's been a few really close second places this year. But yeah, that was in Devil's Lake. I think that was like the season opener or something.
Okay.
And yeah, I think Seth Kloss-Strike ended up getting that one.
Okay.
But it was
He's running pretty good too this year.
I think it was by like 3,000ths of it.
Right.
It was stupid close. So.
Isn't that something when they get that close?
Yeah.
I think it's just pretty cool just to show how competitive that street stock division is.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Anybody could win out of that any given day. You love the fact that you're so darn competitive at such a young age that you're a force to be reckoned with when you get out there. That's got to feel pretty cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool, but I'm trying my best to stay humble with it all too, because you get a big head, and then that's where people start to dislike you.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like when the street stock tour, even the local guys, like there's really good local competition. I
Sure.
just wish we had more guys to race against here,
Yeah.
and that's what sucks about our area is kind of. In national points wise, penalizing for people like me trying to
Not
race
enough
out of
car
here,
count
where there's
and
guys by Wisconsin and
Sure.
the cities that are getting 20 plus cars everywhere. So
Right.
but the competition here is just as high, if not higher. You know what I mean?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just less cars, and that's what's disappointing about it. But
it's kind of I'm on the fence about this. You could have, say if you have 25 streeters show up and 15 of them, 18 of them aren't worth the crap. You know what I mean? I would still rather just see 8 or 9 or 10 of them that are good, that there's going to be racing going on. B-Mods used to be that way. I mean, there'd be so many of them, and there'd be so many cautions because a lot of these guys, you're not going to win the race in the first lap. But now it seems like after a year or two, they get this stuff figured out. And you show up at the racetrack and you look at the streets, you look at any class, there's a group of 10 guys that could win on any given night.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You see it, and it's growing, too. But you got guys that it's still start of the year, really. We haven't seen Josh Barker come out with the 99 yet. He's still, that's pretty fresh yet. We haven't seen him come out yet. We lost a good street stock driver, Brian Johnson left. He's now an A-mod.
Yep.
So, and that car was always competitive to see, so that was, the bad part about things like that is because you lose against the guys that, he was a multiple track champion here. So you lose against him, and you were driving against him just to better yourself.
Yeah.
So then he moves up, obviously, for better competition, whatnot, for something new. But I think that we're getting more Makara Johansson. She's going to do a street stock now, so that's pretty cool to have new people come up in that.
Yeah.
And we know we're going to have the learning curves of stuff happening. It's the same thing with the sprint car, Travis Strandell wasn't the greatest when he first came on a sprint car. He's getting a hell of a lot better now. We haven't seen him this year yet. But that's it's got to be patient with it and grill it up. I love the 10, but obviously we need more people in there for you.
Yeah.
For points wise.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that there's not much you can do about it right now.
Right.
But it's just, hopefully the class eventually grows more. And if not, just becomes more spread out. I don't really know where everyone's gone, but, but it just seems like they've disappeared here.
Well, it seems like that it's not a dying class, but we just have the car count.
Yeah.
That class is very, very, I think it's a great class to start out with.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been good with that, but just we haven't had the car count and blame it on farming or what have you. But
well, it's even so cool, like that street stock tour that's going to be in Lisbon tonight. Like that traveling tours brought so much, I feel like, attention just to the streeters in general.
Right.
Just because, I mean, a raised payout that, of course, draws attention to the drivers at least.
Yeah.
And they always
Frankie
get...
does an awesome job with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's just... But it's just cool because you look at those fields, those lineups, and, like, at least I do, and I don't see anybody who couldn't win that feature. You know what I mean? Like,
agreed.
there's a lot of people who've stepped up their game, and it's just such a competitive class.
Are you heading down there tonight?
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
So, Chad kind of nailed it there. When you first started, Tucker, who are the guys that you looked up to in the street stock class?
Definitely Ryan Johnson was a big one, and
Oh, it's not Brian, it's Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah. Anyway, him and
His dad's going to kill me later.
I thought you were talking about AC/DC for a minute. But
Yeah.
anyway.
him, Ryan Johnson, Chase Bowen, Aaron Blacklance was really, really competitive up until now. He's not racing the streeter as much, but just guys like that. There was a lot of steep competition where I would go and I'm just like, oh, I don't have a chance.
Well, yeah, but now the shoe's on the other foot.
Yeah, well,
I mean, now you got these guys going, looking up to you.
Yeah.
And if this is going to be called a starter class or whatever, to get you into the racing thing, it takes a while.
Yeah,
I
it
mean, how
definitely
long
does.
have you been running these streeters now?
Somewhere between 6 and 7 years. I
Yeah,
don't know if
not
it's 6
something.
or 7, maybe going on 7 now, but
I think you brought up the starter point. I say starter point because it's kind of a nice car to get into. You're not in a cockpit. You're kind of wide open. You can see a bunch of stuff. Every car you get into nowadays, John, is expensive as all get out.
Yeah, there is no
It doesn't matter what it is
affordable
now.
class of racing, I don't
Western
think.
Renegades came out, and I applaud them. That that's a nice class. That's a good class. But you look at a sprint car chassis. Yeah, the only thing that's different on those, like we touched on with Amdahl that was in here with Nick, is the motor. That's what's saving that. But any class you go into is 6-7 years in that, and then you look, your dad's not going to be racing forever. That's going to be a car you're going to want.
well, and another thing that many people don't think of too when you say starter class is that financial end of things too is the payouts that come along with it too.
Oh,
that
gosh,
can make a starter class versus a quote premier class. You know what I mean? Like every car is clearly really expensive, but like the cost versus reward for a street stock versus a late model.
Yeah.
Like it makes no sense to drive a street stock if you can afford a late model because the maintaining it's not even close. You know what I mean? Like so that's ultimately why I think we're hoping to go that direction in the future because the street stock makes absolutely no sense. Unless you're running like that tour or something.
Right.
It makes no sense to race a street stock. The money, no matter what, you go to the track and you're going to lose money. It's it's a hobby at the end of the day.
Yeah,
That's exactly what it is. I always we always gloat about it sometimes. We go to the racetrack and enjoy it. That's our hobby, right? We go talk at the racetrack. Well, we make money doing it.
It's guaranteed.
It's not much money, but we make money doing it. And you guys got to go in there for a hobby, and you spend quite a bit doing it.
Yeah.
But what else would you be doing?
Well, exactly. It's no different than, I can't say much because it's not on my dime right now, but I assume it'd be no different than if you went to the lake and you had a lake house. You're going to, either way, you're going to pay money for whatever you want to do. You know what I mean?
That's like me. I fish competitively, and we had league last night, and it was so bad. For me, anyway, for my boat, my team, I had texted my wife and said, what are your thoughts on me selling my boat and all my gear and buying a go-kart and racing on Wednesdays instead of fishing?
That didn't go over well?
No, it didn't go over very well. Told her she could drive it.
Yeah.
That still didn't go over very well. Amanda Joe says, amen, John. Quality over quantity is sometimes okay. I agree with you.
Yes.
Tucker Pederson, the pilot of the number 27 Wissota Street Stock, is in the studio today. I just want to take a little break. We're going to hear from some of our sponsors, including these guys from Muskox. We'll be right back. Hey, if you move snow with a skid steer, you've got to see the Muskox difference. A patented back drag feature allows operators to blow snow while back dragging in front of obstructions. Garage doors, siding, and fire hydrants. Now, this saves time and money while lowering injury risk by decreasing manual labor. The optional dual auger, called the dually, helps the operator eat through big snowfalls, ice-crusted snow, and blow more snow while back dragging. And the glide plate, it allows you to glide over grass and gravel without ripping up the soft surfaces. Subsequently, create an instant torque of the lower cutting edge to break up snow and ice to better expose hard surfaces. See the Muskox difference. Go to muskox.com or Facebook at Muskox Snowblowers or call 218-288-1905. See the difference for yourself. It's the Muskox difference. Hey, folks, I tell you what, give your toys and holler the buff look without the buffer. Intimidator polish. See the link on gfbestsource.com. Hey, life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done yesterday. It's the way this world is right now. How about time for an oil change? Valvoline Instant Oil Change. That's where I go. Most oil changes done in about 15 minutes. They do more than that, too. Tranny coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries included in your oil change. You're going to top off your fluids. They're going to check your tires, your battery, your lights, your wipers, your cabin air filter. If you own a fleet, they'll give you discounts. If you're in the military, they'll give you a discount. They can text and email invoices and coupons. And if you mention Grand Forks Best Source, they'll take $10 off your oil change. What a deal. Valvoline Instant Oil Change, open Monday through Saturday, no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is available in Grand Forks, too. Tell you what, for an instant oil change and more, Valvoline Instant Oil Change, 3325 South 38th Street. Make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. Boring Boys on a Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River Cities Speedway. Tucker Pederson in the studio with Soda Street Stock Driver. I was going to ask you, we all know the Pederson Racing family. We've had every one of you in here now, including your mom. What's it like being in a racing family? And not only the fact that all of you are well known, but when it comes time to like working on cars and things like that, how does that work? Age first, beauty, whoever has the most damage. Do you have certain days? It's like, okay, Wednesday is Tucker's day. How does that all work? And do you guys all help each other?
Honestly, it varies a lot week to week with damage and stuff like that and what's been wrecked. But I know, honestly, mine seems like my car's been taking really the largest toll in the shop time-wise on everything lately. But with racing 4 days a week, that only leaves you 3 days to fix it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, and for servicing, just everything. So, time-wise, it's gotten a lot more limited than what we're used to for working on stuff. But I'd probably say... time percentage wise, it's definitely mine that takes the lead, then Dad's, then probably Kelsey. Kelsey's is very, very minimal. Work.
Sure. As long as she keeps it on all four.
Yeah, pretty
not
much.
A lot of maintenance.
There's never body work.
Right.
unless you roll the thing.
Yeah. So what's harder to work on, the street stock or the late model? Because late models aren't too bad to work on, are they?
I mean, it again depends on what you wreck. I really don't know enough of the mechanical side of late model stuff yet to really say if that's easier to work on than the street stock. But yeah, I don't know. Street stock's fairly easy, just depends on what you wreck.
Sure. Hall of Famer soon to be Scott Nelson from the Fire and Rescue Crew at River Cities Speedway says good morning. From the fire crew. How about that? Getting into the Hall of Fame. Good for him, man. That is awesome. We got to give him a round of applause. Now, we've been talking a little bit. We mentioned the late model. What's the difference? You did manage to get like a lap and a half in of a late model hot lap. It's too bad. I figured they'd give you a few more laps than that. But is that enough to get that itch going?
Oh, the itch is definitely there. It's definitely a totally different feel than anything else I'm used to. The power underneath you is just insane compared to a street stock. So, only got a lap and a half, but I'd definitely love to go test it more.
It's kind of funny because when your dad we had some health issues here a couple of years back, and it was questionable if he was going to get back into a race car or not. So then, you get all the talk going, all of the talk. Well, I think Kelsey's going to jump in that late model, and I don't know, he's got a little more experience than Tucker does, but you just heard it all. Do you have notions of getting into something like a late model later on in your career?
The goal is, I mean, it's all money, if you can afford because it's not just the car, it's the trailer, everything else behind it that we don't have. But, if money permitting and just see how things go. I mean, next year is kind of the goal. I mean, for that.
You're just hoping for Dad to quit so you can take over, right?
Well, not exactly that. I mean,
I know.
It would be really cool to race against him, but it just comes down to if we can get the money together to buy another car and just a whole nother program is really what it comes down to. But yeah.
Oofta.
Money.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you keep tearing it up like you are this year. Sponsorship isn't going to be as hard to get. It always helps when you're a winner. Amanda Joe says, absolutely love the tribute Tucker put on his car this season. Tell us about that, would you?
Oh, yeah. My grandpa and my great-grandma both passed away this, I'll say, over the winter time. And, they were both really really supportive of our racing and everything, especially Grandpa.
Oh, he's a big race fan.
All since I've started in go-karts, So, on the trunk lid this year, we used up the whole trunk lid and did a nice little tribute with some photos and stuff for them. So I figured that was kind of the least I could do to try to honor, them both.
And does it feel like for you that they're maybe with you at the track?
Yeah, definitely. I know, my grandpa always used to say when I was younger and stuff, that when he was struggling in the shop working on stuff, he'd just stop for a second and just say, God, help me get this together.
Yeah.
So now whenever I'm struggling, I always just pray to Grandpa, and it always seems like stuff tends to come together.
I wish I was that level-headed.
Right?
Oh, I throw stuff and cuss and swear.
That's after a couple swear words first.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta throw in your favorite swear word and then, hey, Grandpa, by the way.
Yeah.
Obviously the swear words aren't working today. I'm with you.
We started this year with the Racer Showcase, Home of Economy Indoor Racer Showcase. You were a part of it. What a great way to kick off a year, isn't it? Because the people, well, for one thing, the place is packed.
Mm-hmm. And this jerky's amazing.
It's pretty good, isn't it? Speaking of Home of Economy,
I was over here eating it during Muscat. He's like, I didn't even hold one. I was like, Tucker, you want some? He's like, I'm good right now. No, you definitely need to try it.
And that was made on a Traeger grill that you can buy at Home of Economy. And by the way, there's your free plug there, Pearson. What'd you think of that Home of Economy Racer Showcase? The fans by now are fed up with winter. I mean, they are so ready for something different. What a great event, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, even just for the whole racing community, we're all kind of a little family. So just seeing everybody after a long winter for some not seeing all winter, it's just a great time. And then even for sponsors, just to showcase your cars and with your sponsor's name before they get all dinged up at the track.
Right, before they get all wrecked.
That's when they look the best.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Fresh wraps and everything on them. And,
Are you schedule this year? We've talked about you've already raced a lot more at this time than you did at this time last year. But are you planning on being very, very aggressive? I know you mentioned the national points thing, but are you going to be going 4 days a week? I mean, are you going to be like the Shane Edgington of street stocks? Because that guy races whenever he can, wherever he can, as far as he can get there and back in time. Yeah. Is that going to be Tucker Pederson this year?
I mean, that's kind of the goal is to go 4 nights a week because that's what all of the competitors in national points are doing. So you run 3, you're behind 1.
Sorry. I'm just catching up. I apologize. I'm reading the dad joke of the day, so I apologize. Yeah, that was funny.
But so the goal is 4 nights a week. But when you have to travel to places that are 5 hours away just to get that 4th night, like at the same time, we don't have a bottomless checkbook. You know what I mean?
Right.
So some of these guys, they can spend Ooga bucks to travel around, but at the end of the day, we do everything we can, but some things you just can't. You got to weigh the pros and cons,
So are you part of the sponsorship seeking process? I'm sure being from the Pederson Racing stable has got to help you guys. I mean, it's, let's face it, your dad's been a pretty damn good racer for a long time. Does that help, or are you out there pounding on doors too?
Oh, we're definitely, we have a lot of help behind us this year for sure. Probably more than in a really long time, especially at least I know for mine and Kelsey's cars, a lot of people have hopped on and wanted to help us, and they help tremendous. Like we wouldn't be able to be doing what we're doing without sponsors, because if we didn't have their support behind us, all of this would be for nothing. Like we wouldn't be able to travel and do all this stuff. We just wouldn't have the money behind us.
Right. So. And then, your bigger sponsors, sometimes you throw in the fact that you're going to load up the car and go haul it over and sit in front of their store, do what you got to do. But that's all part of it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it's like, well, geez, I don't want sponsorship because then I'm responsible. Then I have to be. I got to be held accountable. But then again, on the same note, a month later, well, no, I can't afford to race because I don't have the sponsorship on my car. Yeah. You got to make up the mind. It's either all or nothing, really. And there's more to having a sponsor than just having their name on the car.
Yeah, and comes down to as much as they support us, like it's really nothing to like drag the car out front and have it displayed somewhere. To do something like it's the least we can do to support them back.
Well,
you know what I mean? That's kind of the goal of it is to get to advertise. You know what I mean?
Right.
But a lot of them are
Exactly,
family friends too that just want to help. You know, so like it's there's a fine balance, but at the end of the day, it's anything we can do to help them. You know
I think at the end of the day, when you do what you're doing, and you take, let's just point out Home Economy right now because they do an awesome job with that. You put your car in there. It's got all your sponsors on it. Brand new car. Not only that, but you have race fans that want their fix. They want to go in and look at them. And you guys, like, my son has sat in your dad's late model, except this year because we were sick. We couldn't go this year. But we've sat in that late model. I have pictures of him every year of sitting in that late model. I mean, that makes his day. I mean, that's part of it too. Is at the end of the day, you got to make sure to build that next generation of race fans.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you guys are doing it, and that's what you guys do at. And that's what makes it so nice to be with your sponsor. Because if you go and you put it out there, and their customers come in, and you're like, "Hey, look at the car. Yeah, go ahead and touch it. Yeah, go ahead. You know, and whatever, what have you." And then you give them a hero card at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And your guys' hero cards, like, well, in previous years, they've always had all three of them.
Yeah.
And it's just so cool to have that.
Yeah.
I think just doing that little bit of your day goes over 10 times fold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because my son remembers that all the time.
It was the same way when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
Buddy. That's what brought us into it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and it's
Going
like
around.
I've been using this term a lot lately here on Dirty Thursday, but you guys are rock stars to these kids. And I mean, you could just see the look on their face.
That's my son yelling. Did you see it?
I saw it.
Okay, that's my son yelling at your dad to go.
Oh my.
He was with me in the infield. Do you see that when Parker was yelling? He was, and
I had
Duso
that
got
same look this morning about 6:30.
Yeah, Duso got the photograph of it. But we're watching late models, and he's yelling at Joey to go because he was in second. Like that's how.
He's really passionate about it.
Like I
You
like
think?
He like Duso's like your son. I'm like what? He was screaming. Nah, he did. He was nervous about going. He's got a little anxiety stuff about it, so he was nervous about going. But once he saw the cars that he's seen before, so obviously he sat in Dobmeyer's sprint car, so he's a Dobmeyer fan.
Yeah.
And then he sat in Joey's late model, so he's a late model.
He's a
fan.
bigger Dobmeyer fan than Dobmeyer's kids are.
Probably, you know. But it was so neat, and that's what I mean by that 2 seconds of just time.
Yeah.
To let him sit in that car, and so we.
It can change a kid's life.
Oh, he's a fan forever.
Yeah.
You know, had to go buy a freaking Joey Pederson shirt. He just wants it. You know,
that's what you got to do.
next is going to be the die cast. Wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what you touch on sponsorships and do what you do. You're building that next group. My son was never a race fan until like 2 years ago when I finally started getting him going with me.
Sure.
And now all of a sudden he's like, go 7P yelling at him. I'm screaming. His veins are popping out of his neck.
And you know what? Keep bringing him to the track because pretty soon he could be your gopher for you.
Oh yeah,
He
already is.
Yeah.
As long as he wants to go with me.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Tucker, I drive by your house every day, usually 3, 4, 8, 12 times a day. And I always think to myself, you know, especially not during beet harvest because you got beet trucks there, but it's you can see all the trailers, the haulers, the enclosed trailers, the open. Is it a one for all when it comes to who gets to park where? Because I would think sometimes it would be a nightmare trying to back a car or a truck and a pickup and a trailer in there in the middle of the night, and you've got all these other trailers and stuff there. But is it like first come, first serve, or do you each have your allotted place, or how does the parking alone work there? Because there's a lot of stuff in that little area.
We kind of have a little. We have it figured out well to where we can just make a little U-turn at the end of that alley where we can park everything. But yeah, we kind of have our spots is kind of how it's organized. We usually put the open trailer in the middle because you have the car facing the street that's just kind of asking for people to mess with it.
Sure.
Kind of try to hide that a little bit. But besides that, we kind of have our own little.
That open one, that's yours,
spots.
isn't it? Yeah.
So
he's got his own special spot.
Yeah.
So when you have an open trailer and your car's sitting outside, have you ever had problems like with a squirrel getting in there or mice or any of that kind of stuff, birds or anything?
Luckily enough, not yet.
Okay.
It's knock on wood.
Yeah, my wife's got a Toyota Camry, and boy, I don't know how mice can get in that thing, but they do.
Oh no!
And it's ridiculous. Oh yeah, that thing's been in the shop a few times because of that.
Yeah.
National points is there. I know national points is huge for everybody, whether they say it or not. They always think about it. I know they do. Track championships now. Have you won any track championships?
I did in Greenbush 2 years ago, I think now. But yeah, that was really the only track that I was loyal to enough to do something like that. And this year we kind of slept on that. I guess I was leading points in Devil's Lake, but then we went to Greenbush last weekend. So kind of wiped that away. But we just haven't been loyal to enough tracks week after week to do something like that.
Some of your schedule too also is figured in on how the rest of the family is
Yeah,
where they're
exactly,
racing. I mean,
yeah.
is that why you were in Greenbush
Yeah,
instead
that's-
of Devil's Lake?
Yeah, and that's pretty much
vice versa.
Yeah, it's just like I said, we try to split up as little as we can, but yeah. So in the past, it's always just been I follow Kelsey wherever she goes on a Saturday. You
Sure.
know what I mean? But now it comes down to a little bit too about the car counts, because like I was saying with the national points, saying the 0 to 9, 11 to what, you know what I mean? Like there's different sections for points that if I win with 9, it'd be equivalent to a third with 20
Sure.
plus cars. So
And you know, you talk about competition. I'm not going to throw any names out there, but I can remember a few years back there was a late model driver in this area, and I liked the guy a lot.
Yeah.
But he quit coming to Grand Forks because he couldn't win here, so he started racing on a weekly basis in Fergus to get national points.
Yeah.
Oh, you
And he
know
did.
exactly what you're talking about.
We might have to get him on the show one day again.
Oh,
so.
okay.
But and I get how that goes. What?
I just like you know exactly what you're talking about, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah, it's like
I think
I'm not gonna
yeah.
name any names, but
Yeah.
And I like the kid.
yeah,
I do.
no, he's a good guy.
But I mean, he couldn't win here because of the competition that we
Yeah.
have. I mean, he could win here. I've seen him win here many times, but
he couldn't win here on a regular
He's
basis.
Right.
less consistent than if he went
Yes.
to first.
Yeah. Yes.
especially when you come up with the class we have of drivers. You have the Corcorans, you have Pederson, Brad Singh, Dustin Strand, Mike Balkin. You got all these guys that are going to give you havoc
Oh, yeah.
every Friday night.
Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't you want to go down and see about doing something else?
sure.
Yeah.
How cool is it when you get to go? I mean, I know it's rare where all three of the Pederson racing family can be at a track racing, but there's been times when you, your dad, your sister, your dad, you, your sister, all the different scenarios. But that's got to be pretty cool when multiple family members can win at the same track and the same night.
We want all three.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be
That would-
freaking cool?
I know that, Kelsey and Dad have had a lot of luck with that in the past, but, this year me and Kelsey already have 2 wins together on this, at 2 different tracks, so that was really cool. But, it chips still on my shoulder about all 3 of us, because it seems like it's either I win and then they both lose, or they both win and I lose.
Yeah.
So it's one or the other. So no matter what, I'm the one who still ends up taking the L on the whole situation. So.
Yeah, and I by any means am not saying your dad's racing career is coming to an end or fading because he's been doing it for so long, because I think the guy could go on forever and ever. But how
he's
cool
good.
would that be for him, for all 3 of you to be in Victory Lane one night? Knowing him, he'd probably say, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm happy now.
Yeah.
I'm done. Your mom would be a melted blob.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine, but
Oh, we'd have to get all 3 cars in Victory Lane.
I know, wouldn't that be cool?
have to be
I mean,
all of
that's
them.
national news right
Yeah.
there. That is some huge stuff. If there was one local track you could be track champion at, where would you like it to be?
I'll just say River Cities, because
It's your home.
Yeah, that's home, and that would be really cool. And then you get to make it on the nice little cards and everything for the schedule the next year.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
otherwise I don't. That probably just River Cities would be my next goal.
Yeah, that would be cool to be on the cards and the calendars and the posters and everything. Is there a dream win for you? I mean, it doesn't have to be in the street stock. It could be maybe if you go to a late model, or maybe you even want to go to NASCAR. But is there something that you wake up dreaming about, going, gosh, wouldn't that be fun?
For short-lived now, like just tunnel vision on this year. My dream definitely is they have this thing called the Street Stock Little Dream. I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
Sure.
They have up
In
to
Lisbon?
No, it's not.
Where's
I think
it
it's in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it's down
okay.
in Wisconsin.
Okay.
But they have it's like in the past years, 25,000 to win, 30,000 to win. It's insane. Like
Yeah.
they get so many donations. So tunnel vision goal, that would be like the biggest dream I could the entire season. No national points or nothing. Anything. That would be the highlight of the entire year.
Yeah, it's like we talked to Dobmeyer and I said, would you rather win Knoxville Nationals or would you rather win the World of Outlaws in Grand Forks? And he still has said it to me for years. He'd rather win the show in Grand Forks
Yeah.
than the Knoxville Nationals. So say, Tucker, you won $25,000 at the Little Dream. Is that Boom, done deal. We're buying a late model. Sure, it would help.
Might help a lot. If anything, not just cut down the cost about in half of what we spent for the whole season leading up to that. But yeah, that would definitely help a lot. I'm sure I probably wouldn't see much of it. Most of it would go to Dad anyway.
Well, sure,
Right.
but now I would imagine with what you've got invested in your street stock program that package has got to be worth something. Boy, I tell you what, if somebody wanted to get into the sport and they're going to go buy your car, if you were to move on, they're going to get themselves a real race-ready car, and I mean, it's a good thing. It's a good package. If you were to do that, do all the notes and everything go with those, or do you keep those guys?
When we bought the car from Travis Robertson in 2017, he gave us all of his notes and stuff. So I'm sure when we decide to sell it, I mean,
they're not going to do any good in your late model.
No, and it'd be kind of, I mean, I'm sure we'll keep a copy for ourselves. And
Right.
Who knows if you'd ever move back? I don't know why you would, but if you did, like, it'd be good to have those notes. But I'm sure, why would you? The extra money you're spending for the car, you're paying for knowledge. So at the end of the day, it'd be kind of cheap of us not to give a few notes with the car too. So
Yeah.
He sounds a lot older than he is, doesn't he?
I was just gonna say, how old is he?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, he's like very mature and how he's like very responsible with how you want to do things.
Well, he's been
So thanks,
racing
Mom
these
and
street
Dad.
stock since he was like 4.
Yeah.
So he's been around for a while. How old are you now?
19.
19
now,
only.
yeah.
I was thinking you had to at least be 20 by now. He's got a little ways to go.
Makes John feel really old.
Thanks. You mentioned sponsorship has really picked up. Might as well pull out that cheat sheet, buddy. He's got like paragraphs over there.
I love it. I love it.
Let's give your sponsor some love here.
Yeah, I got to thank North Dakota Eye Clinic, Schonhorn Realty, Amy Dalton Photography, Olson Underground, Ad Monkeys, ProLand Snow, Bad Boy Mowers, Southline Farms, R&R Farms, Hope Church, Turf Pros, Bruce Hart Repair and Fabrication, Roxbury Transmission, Zuli Race Engines, Envision Ag, Hillashog, Energy Release Products, Pit Light Solutions, and Wicked Wraps.
That's it?
Yep, that's it. Yep.
But it's a lot more than last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so cool. And the reason why people do that, not only their family friends, but it's people support winning.
Yeah, they do.
You know, and if they see the car there all the time, it's easier to invest into that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And how important is it to you when you with these sponsors? We talked about some of the responsibilities you have to have when you're sponsored, but keep your stuff clean, keep your stuff looking good, keep your stuff up in the front. Does that bother you too? Do you think about just going and racing and doing your thing, or do you think about your sponsors?
No, we definitely take pride in that. Almost everywhere we go, we try to wash the cars and make them look nice, at least for the heat rate. Whatever you can do when you get to the track and make it look nice. And, you know, like this past week, Dad tore up a lot of stuff in River Cities at the Outlaws. And we have Custom Stripes come and he put a whole new side on the car. So it actually looks good because you don't want you get sponsors and then it's all scratched up and tire marked.
Yeah.
So we try to pride ourselves on making cars look as nice as they can with the circumstances we're under, but yeah.
Another question, when we talk about the kids and you guys are like rock stars, how easily accessible are you before and after a race? I know in the pits before, it's usually not that easy to just go talk to any race car driver you want, even though a lot of them might not be working on their car, but they might be in, relaxing, going through their thing, putting their tear-offs up. But how important is it to you, and how accessible are you to the fans?
I know, like you said beforehand, it's usually a lot more, there's usually less fans beforehand because most of them are in the grandstands, but usually a lot more busy. That's kind of when you're trying to get the game plan for whatever the track looks like that night and stuff. But I know, like, we're always open to fans, anybody who wants to stop by, because we're definitely always open to meeting new people, and people who support us, we want to support them too. So
That's so true.
So you ever have one of those nights where you just wish the people would leave you alone so you can go home because you didn't have a very good night, but you can't?
Yeah, there's definitely been a few nights where I'm ready to get out of there, but at the same time, you have to make the most out of, even a bad finish. So, those people are there to support you. So at the end of the day, you wanna be there for them and talk to them and everything. So yeah, there's been a few nights where I've been ready to get out of there, but you tough through the wanting to get
it's
out of
part
there.
of your duties, really.
Yeah,
it's one of those unwritten things that you have to do. Heather doesn't have skating going on, I can tell, because she just must have got up. Good morning, Heather. Kevin Pappenfuss, great show and great job, Tucker. it's pretty cool when you hear all the old Hall of Famers and stuff. They know you.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's not just because you happen to be Tucker Pederson, son of Joey Pederson. They know you for what you can do in a race car now, and your whole family. I mean, it's not just all dad's kids. You guys all have your own name now, and that's got to be awfully cool.
Yeah, it's definitely cool seeing the stars of before that recognize you. It's super cool. And I know like my dad looks up to a lot of these guys too. And it's
sure.
cool. It's cool to be recognized by it's really cool to be recognized by them. And
it's respect factor, right?
Yeah, it's
the respect factor.
Respect too. And it's really cool when me having the ultimate respect for them, because clearly like they've shown throughout their careers and not just racing, but good people. You know what I mean? It's really cool to be respected by those that you respect and look up to your whole life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%. I agree with you. And it's nice to have the backing, and the support from them. And you can sit there and you can have a conversation with them and relax and just be like, hey, you did a good job, but this is, you try this next time. They'll give you a little pointer and stuff like that. Pappenfuss would probably be one just to sit there. You get him 3 or 4 beers in him, he'll talk for hours. But I love talking to those guys and just explaining how it was back then and what's different now. And it is really cool for them to come out and be supportive of you. The ultimate respect factor would be them wearing your shirt.
Yeah.
Or, you walk around, you see these people wearing your clothing, and it's like, oh, man, like, that's so cool.
Well, and I know even, Bruce Hart has helped us out a lot this year and just building bodies and everything for my car. And, he's a sponsor on our car, too, this year. And, just hearing stories, like going over to his shop, just him and my dad talking, because, he's ultimately who really helped my dad,
and you know how many race car drivers have said that?
Yeah, and, so, like, just going over there and hearing old stories and stuff, and I just love it. I just love
have to
taking
go
it all
on one of those days when he's got things going on. It was after the Racer Showcase.
Yeah,
we all ended up over there.
It
was a great time. It's always fun. I love going. The very first time I ended up at Bruce Hart's shop was during one of these things, and I'll admit it, there was only a few people I knew. Right. Tommy, Jeffrey Liebrecht, I knew a few guys there, but there was a ton of people in there that I knew who they were. I just didn't get to ever meet them.
Right.
And it's all the names that you remember hearing when you were growing up and years ago, and you finally get to sit down with these guys and pick their brain a little bit.
Like a Mitch Johnson.
I have a lot of fun with that. And Bruce Hart, I mean, he opens up his whole world to you when you go over there, not just his shop. You got all the food and beer and everything, and he just has a good time with it.
It's a good thing.
Another awesome show. Amy, great job. Tucker, nice to see the young guys racing. Great show today, Amanda Joe says. All right.
Shout out to Amanda Joe. She bailed me out last weekend.
Huh?
I didn't feel good.
Oh.
I talked to you for a little bit for the Outlaws and stuff, went down, and I was in the infield. I was really different. I gave everybody my fist bump and stuff and talked a little bit, but I tried to keep by myself because I was not feeling good at all.
Okay.
So I did the victory lane. I looked at Amanda and said, hey, could you please help me? I just need you to get these 2 things out for me. And Rugi took me to my truck and I went home. But yeah, Amanda, thank you for bailing me out last week.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I like that too. I'm getting ready to send it down to you to interview Lance Schill.
Yeah.
And I get yelled at. He's got one question and that's it. Gee, I wonder who was yelling at me there. But thanks. Keep up the good work. I'm here all night just to ask one question.
I ask one question, but then Midco's there. They have to have their question. Wayne Nelson's there. He has to have their question. So
I know.
Once again, you're a visitor to our place, and that everybody loves this track. Let's just be conscious of that.
Yeah. Perfectly well put.
Yep.
It doesn't always happen that way.
No.
Billy Schletter, hello guys. There we go. All right.
Good job, dude. Sorry I was late, man.
No, you're good.
Yeah, no kidding.
I always want to make it when these guys come in because this is like the epitome of racing families right now.
Yes, absolutely. So we don't know who we're going to have on next week yet.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'll find somebody tomorrow night, but Lisbon tonight.
Yep.
Good luck, dude. Go kick some ass.
Thanks.
Lisbon tonight, Grand Forks tomorrow.
Yep.
And to be determined for Saturday?
Yep, Saturday and Sunday, not too sure yet. We'll have to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Knock 'em dead. Have you won at Lisbon before?
No, I have not. My first time was actually last week or 2 weeks ago now.
Okay.
So,
And how'd you run there?
Third was that
Beautiful
finish,
place,
but
isn't it?
It's so.
I mean-
I love the streaky, smooth, dry. That's the track that that's what I would race on 9 times out of 10. I'd love that.
Yeah.
So, perfect, great surface, and can't really complain.
Good
much
crowds,
about that.
great people.
Yeah.
I mean,
What
my
the
brother
heck?
lives there. He loves going to that track. He's just,
Yeah.
So
Fromke
add
does a good
that to
job.
the resume. A win in Lisbon would be awfully cool, wouldn't
Yes,
it?
it would be, especially with the street stock tour. That would be.
Oh,
that'd be great.
yeah,
So,
because
we'll
there's
Be
going to be a lot of cars
there tonight.
That's going to be awesome.
Good luck, dude. Go kick some butt.
Thank you.
Yeah, hey, thanks, man, for coming in.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We love having anybody from the Pederson Racing family in here. Tucker Pederson, there you go. The number 27 Wissota Street Stock. Catch him at a track near you. He'll be at Lisbon tonight. He'll be here at River Cities Speedway tomorrow. And again, thanks to Chad Hoff for coming in, the other half of the Bull Ring Boys here on Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River Cities Speedway and Rumors Sports Bar and Casino, home of the world-famous Beer Tower. We got the other part of the Triple Crown coming up this weekend, I believe. There'll be something going on at Rumors. You can go get your bets in.
What
Maybe
doesn't
win
go
yourself
on at
some money.
Rumors?
Yeah, lots of good things going on at Rumors. In fact, we got the Stanley Cup playoffs on again tonight.
Yeah.
Go watch it on any one of their 900 TVs they've got in there. They got great lunch and dinner specials. They got the NHL package, wall-to-wall TVs, $3 pounders all day on Wednesdays. You can't beat it. Rumors Sports Bar and Casino, all right? Hey, I tell you what, check out big screens and TV streams this afternoon at 1 o'clock and tonight at 6:30. The Forks Sports Highway Show, the best local sports show, is on. In fact, rumor has it, they're going to be talking to Minnesota Vikings Hall of Famer Chuck Foreman tonight on the show. Monty, you rule, man. You rock. Hey, remember, everybody, to catch those shows and to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit the notification bell on your smartphone. Every time we turn a camera on, your phone will ding. It might get sickening, but you'll never miss a show that way. Hey, the Grand Cities is an awesome place. Grand Forks' best source is giving it an identity again.